Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a really fun deep dive into what is, arguably, Italy's most famous, most beloved, and easily its most adaptable comfort food. I'm talking about minestrone. If you're the kind of learner who loves figuring out the why and the how behind what we eat, well, you are in the exact right place. So get ready, because we're going to unpack the brilliant, modular design of a dish that has literally been comforting families for centuries. Let's jump in. So what if I told you that Italy's most famous soup actually has absolutely zero official recipe? No, really, it's true. There's a famous saying, there isn't one authentic minestrone, they're all authentic. And honestly, that's a pretty massive mythbuster. If you're someone who is used to, strict baking ratios or super precise culinary formulas, by design, this classic dish has no rigid, singular recipe. Instead, it's more like a living reflection of the local landscape. It changes beautifully with the seasons, whatever the local harvest is, and hyper-local family traditions. Okay, here is our modular masterclass roadmap for today. 1. The soup with no recipe. 2. The universal foundation. 3. The 5 essential steps. 4. 4 regional variations. 5. Avoiding common mistakes. And finally, 6. Taste the tradition. Part 1. The soup with no recipe. All right, so we need to frame this dish and its proper historical context before we even think about turning on the stove. This isn't just a soup, right? It's the ultimate adoptable Italian comfort food. The very word minestrone actually comes from the linguistic root minestra, which literally just translates to the Italian word for soup. But the suffix "one" in Italian implies something large or grand. So minestrone essentially means a big, hearty soup. For over 2,000 years, Italian families have been preparing these incredibly hearty vegetable soups. Long before global supply chains were a thing, you basically just cooked with whatever was growing right outside your back door. And that brilliantly illustrates the core philosophy of this whole dish. It's been adapting for centuries. Basically, as agriculture changes from the cooler mountainous regions of the north all the way down to the sun-drenched south, well, so does the soup. The dish's ultimate superpower is really its flexibility. It effortlessly adapted to whatever ingredients the land and the local agriculture provided at that exact time. I mean, it's basically a masterclass in seasonal sustainability engineered centuries before that was even a buzzword. Part 2. The universal foundation. Okay, let's step into the kitchen. Now, while there isn't one set recipe, there is absolutely a fundamental canvas that you need to make a proper pot, which usually yields about 6 to 8 servings. If you just look at a list of 15 ingredients, sure, it can feel a little overwhelming, but let's logically group this extensive list into 4 clear categories so we stay super focused. First up, your aromatics. That's your extra virgin olive oil, onion, carrots, celery, and garlic. This is your core flavor base. Next, your liquids. You want a really good quality vegetable stock and some tomatoes to build out that broth. Then, the bulk of your canvas, the vegetables. We're talking cannellini beans, green beans, zucchini, potatoes, cabbage, and spinach. And finally, the seasoning, which is just simple salt and black pepper. So that grouping right there, that is your universal foundation. Part 3, the 5 essential steps. Now, this right here introduces the core cooking philosophy of minestrone. And I promise you, once you learn this specific, super simple method, you can cook literally any regional variation with total confidence. So here is your master formula. Step 1, cook your aromatics in olive oil until they're softened. That builds your base flavor. Step 2, add your regional vegetables. Step 3, pour in your vegetable stock and simmer it slowly for about 35 to 45 minutes to really marry all those flavors together. Step 4, add your pasta or rice near the very end of the cooking time. And step 5, finish it off with your regional garnishes. Now, I really want to highlight this for you. Pay close attention to steps 2 and 4. Those are the exact moments where the regional variables are injected into the formula. That is right where the magic happens. Part 4, 4 regional variations. Okay, so now we actually get to see exactly how those base steps adapt to different geographies. Let's walk through these instructional cooking variations. Up in Liguria, the key additions are small pasta cooked right in the broth, but the real secret is stirring in some fresh basil pesto and Parmesan right at step 5. You do this off the heat, and it gives this incredibly fragrant finish. Now, moving down to Tuscany, you're going to add hearty kale and extra cannellini beans. But here, instead of pasta, you cook stale, rustic bread directly into the soup. The bread naturally breaks down and thickens the broth, giving it this incredibly rich texture. Up in Lombardy, their unique method swaps out the pasta for arborio rice. Yeah, the exact same rice you'd use in risotto. It releases all these starches and actually makes the soup creamy without using a single drop of actual cream. Pretty cool, right? Finally, in southern Italy, you adjust step 2 by just loading up the pot with extra tomatoes, zucchini, and eggplant, and then finishing it heavily with fresh, bright summer herbs. So here we basically have northern and central hardiness going head-to-head with coastal and southern brightness. You really have to imagine the visceral difference here. In the cooler climates of Tuscany and Lombardy, you're relying on these rich, heavy thickeners, right? Like that rustic, starchy, stale bread melting into the broth, or that velvety, creamy arborio rice just coating your spoon. But then you contrast that with the lighter, vibrant finishes of the south and the coast. Think of Liguria's incredibly fragrant, bright green pesto melting over the top of the bowl, or southern Italy's burst of fresh, vibrant summer herbs that make the whole broth just feel light and sunny. It's the exact same base technique, but it yields completely different sensory experiences. It's amazing. Part 5. Avoiding common mistakes. Now, even though this soup is famously adaptable, there are a few technical pitfalls that can totally ruin the balance. So let's troubleshoot them right now so you know exactly what not to do. First up, overcooking the vegetables. You want them tender, for sure, but if you boil them to death, they lose all their texture and basically turn into a sad, mushy puree. Definitely avoid that. Second, adding pasta too early. Remember step 4? Yeah, if you add pasta right at the beginning, it absorbs way too much broth and turns into a bloated sponge, which basically leaves you with absolutely zero soup liquid. Third mistake, skipping fresh herbs. Look, dried herbs are perfectly fine during the simmer, but skipping the fresh herbs at the very end, that means a severe loss of that essential, vibrant brightness. And finally, using only one vegetable. The absolute beauty of minestrone is its variety. A pot with just carrots isn't a minestrone. It's carrot soup. You really need that symphony of different vegetable flavors working together. Part 6. Taste the tradition. Let's connect these culinary instructions back to the rich cultural history we started with, just to kind of wrap up our journey today. 4 totally distinct soups, but one beautiful Italian tradition. As we've seen, minestrone truly reflects the heart of cooking with what the land provides. The main takeaway I want you to remember from this explainer is that this dish's centuries-long survival is entirely due to its beautiful lack of rigid rules. It isn't some strict formula. It's a living, breathing method that just invites you to collaborate with whatever ingredients you happen to have right in front of you. So now it's your turn to bring this into your own kitchen. Seriously, which regional version are you going to try cooking first? Are you going to go for the fragrant pesto finish of Liguria? Maybe the hearty, bread-thickened bowl from Tuscany? How about the creamy rice of Lombardy? Or maybe the vegetable-rich, really bright flavors of southern Italy? I'd love to know, so let us know your favorite in the comments below. Keep exploring, keep cooking, and we will see you in the next explainer.